Hi friends, joy and peace to you all. Once a merchant went to a market for the sale of his product. After selling all his products, he made a good sum of money. He collected all his money carefully and rode back home. As he was riding on a horse, he noticed it was already late in the evening. The sky was overcast with heavy clouds, and on the way there was a thick forest that he had to pass through. As he entered the forest, he had not gone halfway through the forest when it started raining heavily. Feeling his helplessness, he started to blame and curse God for the rain. He considered rain as a curse from God on his way back home. In the meantime, there was a man, a strong, heavy, a scary man jumping from the bushes with a long gun in his hand. He was a robber. The robber, pointing the gun towards the merchant, said, "Your money or your life? If you want to spare your life, drop all your money down for me and run away from here. Or if you want your money back, you have to sacrifice your life. What do you want, your life or your money?" Being threatened, the merchant did not give up his spirit. Rather, he took courage within. As a result, booted and spurred his horse for a speedy ride. As the merchant rode fast from there, the robber tried to fire at him with his gun, but the gun did not go off because the gunpowder got wet because of that heavy rain. Being escaped, the merchant realized that he was not attacked and harmed by the robber, and he realized that rain proved the blessings of God, and he realized the rain was the blessings from God. And he started praising God with his wonderful words. The same merchant considered rain as a curse and a barrier on his way back home, but now considered the same rain as a blessing from God. Yes, dear friends, in our lifetime, when we pass through difficulties, struggles, hardships, problems, sickness in our life, we immediately tend to blame God with ridiculous questions. Why God this to me? Our faith becomes shattered. We are completely pushed down. But we have to realize that in every suffering, in every struggle, in every hard moment, there is a platform, there is a way to go through and reach the better version of ourselves, the better version of our life and existence, the better version of our status. The biblical witness of this beautiful passage of our narration of good out of evil is the story of Joseph from the book of Genesis. The flesh and blood brothers of Joseph, his own brothers, sold him in slavery to an Egyptian called Potiphar. It was a biggest adversity in the life of Joseph. We cannot imagine and assume the sufferings, the agony, the perplexity undergone by Joseph. It was unspeakable, unthinkable for him. But over a period of time, God gloriously raised him as one of the important men in the history of the nation Egypt. And to explain this beautiful narration of bringing good out of evil through the story of Joseph, I have seven important traits or personalities to explain, and through which Joseph journeyed, persevered and withstood to prove God's glorious manifestation, God's glorious intervention about bringing good out of evil. What are these seven traits? The first one is envied personality. The second one, enslaved personality. The third one, objectified personality. The fourth one, imprisoned personality. And the fifth one, freed personality. Sixth one, elated personality. And the seventh one, providential personality. Let us see one after the another. The first one, envied personality. Joseph was full of life, love, and he was with far-sightedness, solidarity, solicitude, generosity. He was with the blessings of God and with holiness towards God. He was loved by his own father well. Because of all his goodness, he was envied by his own brothers. And we know what was the result of the envy. He was sold. Yes, dear friends, in our life too, when we are good, when we are honest, when we are faithful and truthful, when we are just, because of our goodness, because of our growth, because of our skills, because of our talents, we might be envied by many around us. Even when we see people good and growing and prosperous, we may become envious about them. What have we to do? We have to generate the spirit of compassion and love within and walk with that compassion and love with them and eliminate the stings of envy so that we become really fully human. Okay, the second trait, enslaved personality. These brothers enslaved Joseph due to their jealous and hatred. What is slavery? Slavery makes one unfit for the self. Slavery defines that one does not belong to oneself, rather one is addicted to the other or things or persons. Here, these brothers made Joseph unfit for their family and made him not belong to themselves, rather to a foreign person as a slave. Yes, dear friends, in our life too, we have to realize that we are made fit to ourselves. We are made to fit to self by God's creation in the image and likeness of Him. He made us in His own image and likeness and made us fit to our own selves. But because of our inclinations, because of our waywardness, because of our distractions and attachments to the world, because of our addictions to the clutches of Satan, we become unfit to ourselves and become addicted to the nuances of the world. Where are we, dear friends? Okay, the third one, objectified personality. When Joseph went to Egypt, there comes the intervention of Potiphar's wife Suleika. We all know about Suleika, the wife of Potiphar. She was a barren woman. She did not have children in her life, and she was longing for this pervert feeling in and around her. But for outsiders, she projected that Joseph was her adopted son because she was a barren woman and she did not have children in her life. But deep within, she had a pervert approach towards Joseph because he was charming, handsome, and good looking. She objectified Joseph for her pleasure and sensual need. Joseph was seen as an object for her usefulness. This utilitarianism was used there. Many a time in our life too, especially in our spousal relationship, in our friendship, in our cohabitation, in our communion with many other people in and around us. Many may approach us with the same attitude of utilitarianism. As long as we are useful for them, they are good with a relationship. Once their needs are done, once all their expectations are done with us, then we become least important for them. Sometimes we may objectify others, sometimes we become objectified by others. Where are we, dear friends? How is our relationship? How is our approach towards the other? How do people approach us with their relationship? Okay. The fourth personality is imprisoned personality. Because Joseph remained faithful and truthful, moral and holy, he was imprisoned. we may also sometimes, because of our goodness, may become blamed, put down, looked down, objectified, imprisoned. But if you remain faithful, if you remain honest, if you remain just and truthful, sure, this imprisonment would not be eternal, maybe a temporal situation. And we also have to think about our personal imprisonment. Sometimes we imprison ourselves to unnecessary things around us. We become persons imprisoning our own souls, our own consciousness, our own goodness, unto the clutches of sin, unto the stings of evil. Okay. The next trait is freed personality. Again, truth will set us free. Righteousness will set us free. Honesty will set us free. A virtuous life, a holy attitude, good characters will set us free. Joseph is a beautiful example for all of us. Joseph, in spite of his sufferings, in spite of his problems, in spite of his hard moments through his life, he remained faithful. Even inside the prison, he remained faithful and he remained prayerful. He had his love increase for God. He had his prayer increase in due faith. Thus, he was freed. Again, our faithfulness, our fidelity unto the discipleship of God, our faithfulness to the call of God will make us freed. It's beautiful. The next trait is elated. We have to calculate all the stages of Joseph. Even though he was envied, enslaved, objectified, imprisoned, God freed. He freed for what? He did not just free him. Rather, after freeing him, he raised him to a level of honesty. He raised him to highness. He elated him. He escalated him to a better version of his life. Yes, dear friends, when we remain faithful, when we attach ourselves closer to God, when we really worried, concerned about God's project in our life, sure, God makes us escalated, elated, raised in His glory. And the last one is providential personality. What is that providential personality? Or we could also say that it is an altruistic personality. See, his own brothers, flesh and blood brothers, sold him in slavery and made him suffer, made him go through agony and perplexity in life. But now, he becomes the source of providence, the source of life, the source of existence in their life. As famine came in their area, in Jacob's family area, Jacob sent all his sons to appeal for food to Egypt. And they meet their own brother, the enslaved brother, as a means of providence for them. Yes, dear friends. Many people may make us suffer, but God would make us to become the means of healing for the same people. These are the 7 important traits in and around Joseph's life, in which he withstood, persevered, journeyed, and became an epitome example of bringing good out of evil. So, dear friends, this talk is little longer, but the message is beautiful. Every time we pass through difficulties, tribulations, problems, let us remain faithful. Let us increase our courage. Let us strengthen our faith. Let us increase our prayer. Let us remain firm. Let us remain assertive in the goodness of the Lord. Through all our sufferings, be it small or bigger, through all our sufferings, God is there to bring a better version of ourselves. God is there to bring something greater through our sufferings. Because sufferings are the means of success, sufferings are the means of sanctity, and sufferings are the means of better destiny. Thank you, friends. My prayers and wishes. All the best.